Now, I'm going to start working on an actual project, our final project of this course. But first, we're going to make a commit of everything. I switched right now into Cursor because we are going to basically use AI in some of the places to auto-generate the code, but don't get scared. I'm going to explain everything. We are not going to take code from AI simply without explanation, and also we are not gonna generate hundreds of lines of code. You will be able to follow along with you typing if, in my case, something is generated by AI. Okay, don't quit, don't scared. So you're gonna be allowed. You will be able to allow. Okay. Now, first, let me comment everything. Install Laravel Breeze and implement proper authentication. I'm going to click on commit. Now I'm making commits through this UI, not using terminal. Okay, so we're going to start everything by first by generating the model and the migration. So you know what the project is about. We are going to generate prompts out of the uploaded image with the help of AI, so that you can take that prompt, give it to AI image generation engine, and you're going to get that new image, which will be really similar to the uploaded one. Okay, so we're going to start everything from the migrations, and I'm going to create new model in migration by executing PHP artisan make model, and I'm going to call the model image generation, and let me provide the -m flag to generate the migration as well. Okay, image generation model and the migration was created. Let's open the migration. We have these image generations here, and let me add a couple of properties. Like I'm going to add foreign ID, the user ID column, constraint on users, and I'm going to also add cascade on delete. So if the user is deleted, I want the all the generations to be deleted as well. Okay, now I'm going to get a bunch of auto completions by Cursor, so just be ready for that. Okay, so then we have prompt. That actually, let me call this generated prompt. So this is the prompt that will be generated by the AI. So I'm going to have also image. You know what? It generated a lot of unnecessary things, which I don't like, to be honest. So I want this user ID constrained users. Okay, that's fine. I want that. Stop it. Stop. So then I want generated prompt. This is going to be text. That's right. Then I want image, not the image URL, but I want image path, where I'm going to save the uploaded image locally. All right, so I'm gonna also save the original name of the image, and optionally I can save the image size in MIME type. So I'm going to duplicate this, and this is going to be integer. Oops, integer, and this is going to be file size, and we're going to have string, which is going to be MIME type. Let me double check this. So we have ID, we have the user ID, we have the image generated prompt and image path. I can actually move this up. Generated prompt, original name. Let's call this original file name. File size, MIME type. Okay, great. So I'm going to bring up the terminal and I'm going to execute this migration. PHP artisan migrate. We hit the enter, create image generations table was executed properly. And we're going to create controller as well. PHP artisan make controller image generation controller. Okay, we created empty controller. It is not a typical resource controller, so I'm going to leave it like this. Empty controller. So I'm going to create two methods here. One is going to be index from which we're going to simply return all the generations the user has performed. And second, let's add a store method, which is going to handle uploading image. All right. I'm going to open also api.php, and I'm going to add these new rules. Okay, I'm using this API resource, image generations. I'm using this image generation controller right here. However, we don't have all the resource endpoints of this image generation. So we don't have a get a single generation, we don't have update the generation, and we can also provide only actions we are looking for. Like through this only method, we configured only index and store. That's all what we have. Now I'm going to import that controller, image generation controller. Okay, that was imported. Now let's bring up the terminal, and I'm going to execute PHP artisan wrote list. Let's have a look. Now we have two new rules, image generations. Okay, we have the index to get all the image generations, and we have post to perform the image generation. Okay, cool. Now we have the model created, we have the migration executed. Let me open image generation model, and we're going to add a couple of properties inside fillable. We will need that. Define fillable with user ID, image path, generated prompt, original file name, file size, MIME type, and that's it. So we're going to also define the relation to the user so that the image generation belongs to a user. That was auto-generated by Cursor, and we're going to import this belongs to. So we have this relation properly defined. We can open this user, and let's define the reverse relation on image generations. The current user has many image generations, and the has many needs to be imported as well, which is already imported in the following file. Now we're going to install the correct package to communicate to OpenAI's API. For this, we're going to execute composer require OpenAI -php/client. OpenAI-php/client. So this is the package we need, and this is the package we're going to use in our project to communicate to OpenAI's API. Okay, so once this is created, this was actually required. Once this is required, then we have to open the sidebar, and we're going to add API key in en file. So I'm going to open en example first, scroll down below, OpenAI config. Okay, and I'm going to define OpenAI_API_key. So this is the template. Oops. Now I'm going to take this and put inside env at the very bottom, but we have to actually generate OpenAI's API key and put this right here. So I'm going to show you how you can get this. So in the Google, you can simply type OpenAI API keys and create an OpenAI API key. Just click on this. If you don't have OpenAI's account, you have to create that. Once you do this, then you probably also need to add your billing information, because using OpenAI's API keys basically starts charging you. So you have to fill up the billing information as well. And you can claim free tokens as well if you want. So we're going to click this create new secret key, and you're going to give it name, some name, whatever it's going to be, and you're going to create secret key, then copy that key and put in your en file. Okay, I'm going to put my secret key into this en file, but I'm not going to show you this to you because I don't want you to have a look at my OpenAI's API key. Okay, so I'm going to put this, and I'm going to continue after that part. Now I'm going to open services services.php and scroll at the very bottom, and I am going to add OpenAI service. And I'm going to add the key, which is going to be taken from the OpenAI's API key. This is exactly what I have added, and you have just seen my API key. That's fine. Okay, I didn't want this, but now, because you saw this, I have to delete this. And I will create a new one. Okay, so we have this OpenAI's key added into the service. Now, what we need to do, I'm going to create a service class. I'm going to bring up the terminal. I can collapse the left side. And I'm going to execute PHP artisan make class. Inside services folder, I want to create OpenAI service class. I think this is the name I want to give. Now let's open OpenAI's service. Just like this. And this is going to be a typical plain class, and it's going to have one main method which will do all the job. And that method is going to be called generate prompt for image. Generate prompt from image. As a parameter to this method, we're going to expect uploaded file, which is going to be illuminate HTTP uploaded file. And this is going to be image. And that method must return string. And that string is going to be the prompt generated by the OpenAI's API. Okay, now what we are going to do. On that image, come on, stop it. Okay, on that image, I'm going to call get path name, which is going to be where the file is located right now. Okay, then I'm going to read that using file get contents, get file get contents. I'm reading that information, and then I'm going to call base64 encode on that. So I'm reading the file and encoding this into base64, and this is going to be my image data. After this, I'm going to read the MIME type as well. So I need MIME type, which is going to be image get MIME type. So I have the file image data, I have the MIME type. Now I'm going to create OpenAI's client and then send the request. Client equals, I'm using new factory. I'm going to use new factory, and that factory, let me find the proper factory class to import. That must be OpenAI's factory. So I'm creating an instance of this new factory. Then I'm going to call with API key to take that API key from services OpenAI's key. And I'm going to call make to create the factory. So that services API key is the key which is inside services and which is taken from env. Now we have the client and we can already send the request. So on that client, we're going to call method chat. Then we're going to call create and provide array to it. So here we're going to provide the model. Model can be GPT-4o mini, or I'm going to actually choose 4o, and then we have to provide messages. Okay, that messages will be actually array, but we're going to provide only one message at the moment. But inside that message, we're going to have two content. One is going to be my prompt, and second is going to be actual image which I'm passing to it. All right. So here we're going to have array as a single message. Then I'm going to provide role. Actually, I need square brackets here as well. So then I need role to be user. So I'm as a user giving the following information to OpenAI. So then I'm going to provide content, and inside content, I'm going to provide array and then two array elements. The first one is going to be my prompt, which is going to have type to be text, and I'm going to give it my text. And let me actually copy that text. I'm going to copy and put this right here, and I'm going to read this. Analyze this image, and generate detailed descriptive prompt that could be used to recreate a similar image using AI image generation tools. The prompt should be comprehensive, describing the visual elements, style, composition, lighting, colors, and any other relevant details. Make it detailed enough that someone could use it to generate similar image. I'm going to also add one sentence. You must preserve aspect ratio exactly as the original image has, or very close to it. Okay, that's it. Now we have the second content inside this content array, which is going to have type image URL, and I'm going to provide the actual image URL through the following way. We are providing data colon, then the image MIME type, semicolon, base64, comma, and the actual image data. So this is the way how we're giving the whole information to OpenAI. So we are starting this conversation. I'm going to collapse this, and finally we're going to have some response. After which we're going to return that response in the following way. Response choices at 0, we're going to take a message out of it and content. So simply this is the way how we're going to get it. Okay, awesome. Now since we do this, we have this main method ready to communicate to OpenAI's API. We can already use it in the controller. Let's open image generation controller and let's focus on this store method. So actually, I'm thinking that we need a separate class here as well. I'm going to call this generate prompt request. Let me generate this. PHP artisan make request generate. I thought I copied it. Generate prompt request. Generate prompt request. Okay. Yeah, that's good. I'm going to open this and I'm going to modify this a little bit. So first I'm going to add authorized to be true. Then I'm going to scroll down below and I'm going to add several rules. I'm going to add image, only one property I'm going to actually get, but there are several validation rules we need. Like we need to make the image required. We need to make this to be a valid file. We need to make this to be valid image. We need it to have a proper MIME type, one of the following MIME types. We're going to give it proper the maximum size, and I'm going to actually do this to be 10,240. So maximum 10 megabytes. So I'm going to also add dimensions like the minimum, maximum dimensions. So minimum width, minimum height 100 pixel, maximum width, maximum height 10,000 pixel. Okay, that's it. So I have these validation rules for all of them, and optionally I can of course define custom messages as well. Actually, I'm going to do this. Let me copy this messages array and I'm going to define this here. So for image required, an image file is required, uploaded file must be a valid file, uploaded file must be a valid image, and so on. So we have all the validation rules here. So we have the maximum size. We don't have minimum size, which we can do, like minimum to be 1 kilobyte, something like this. Yeah, we can do this. Okay, so we have the request class ready with authorized true. Now let's go into the controller and we're going to focus on this controller class. I'm going to get the uploaded. Yeah, we're going to change this. It's really weird how Cursor decides that I want to change this right now into something else, and that actually is true. So generate prompt request. Okay, so this is the class I want to use. Now I'm going to take the currently authenticated user information, which is going to be request user. I also want to take the image, which is going to be request image. Now I want to take the original name of the uploaded image. So original name is image get client original name. I want to sanitize the original name and make the name a little bit safer. So I'm going to create new variable sanitized name, which sanitized name. However, I don't want this in the following way. So I'm going to do prig replace. I think that's more like it. This is the original name, but again, I'm going to use path info, original name, and path info file name. Okay, that's more like it. So from this original name, I am taking only file name. Actually, this original name probably contains only file name, nothing else, but we're still running this inside the path info file name to take the last portion of the file name. So to explain this, if my original name is called something.png, okay, then this path info original file name with path info file name will simply again return something.png. Then we're passing that something.png right here, okay? And we are simply replacing several characters with underscore. And we can also add dot here, underscore, and dash. So anything that is not in the following list of characters, like from lowercase a to z, from uppercase a to z, dot, underscore, and dash, anything that is not in the following list, let's replace it with underscore. And we have then sanitized name, which is actually safe to upload this file somewhere. Okay, we're going to get the extension as well. We need extension, get client original extension. We have this. And finally, I need save file name, which is going to be sanitized name. Take the sanitized name. Actually, I'm going to concatenate this with the current time. So that just in case there is the same named file uploaded multiple times. So I'm adding the current time as well to this sanitized name. And then I'm adding the extension at the bottom. Okay. Now I have this save file name, and which is the place where I plan to save my uploaded file. So after I did this on image, I'm going to call store as. I'm going to provide inside store as. I'm going to provide uploads / images as the location. Uploads / images. The save file name is the place where I'm going to save this. And in terms of the location, I'm going to put this in a public location. All right. For security reasons, we can also put this file in a random named folder. So we are putting this inside the public because we might want to show that URL, return that URL to the user as well. So that user can access that URL and see what file he has uploaded. That's why we have to put this in a public place. If we put this in a private place, then the image will not be visible from the browser URL. But maybe we have to add some random name. Like instead of time here, let's use str random as a random text. That str, we can use Illuminate support str. Cool. Now we have this saved image path, which we can actually assign this into image path. Okay. And now we're going to generate prompt. For this, I'm going to use this OpenAI service class instance where I just created this one. And this one doesn't have constructor, it doesn't extend anything. So simply we can create its instance, and I'm going to create a constructor class here, and I'm going to accept this OpenAI service as a private property, and then I can use this OpenAI service in the controller. All right. So I need curly braces here, and the OpenAI service needs to be imported. Okay, great. Now here I can use this OpenAI service generate prompt for image, and this is going to give me generated prompt. Okay, since we have prompts generated, we can already save the record in the database. So on the user, the current user, I'm going to call image generations as a relation and create on it. And then I'm going to provide image path, generated prompt, original file name, image size, and MIME type. And finally, I'm going to return the entire image generation as a response with status code 201. So we have just created new image generation. Okay, and then from that response, we will be able to take this generated prompt. Okay, awesome. Now let's open Postman and let's add a new API endpoint. I'm going to duplicate this. Actually, let's duplicate this delete a post. And I'm going to call this create, generate new prompt. We're going to switch this into post. The URL is going to be image-generations, right? Let's go into body, and I'm going to switch this into form data, and I'm going to change this into file. And the name will be image, and I'm going to select the file from my local computer. And for some reason, Postman doesn't show on Linux the folder names, so this is really weird, but I will try to pick some image. Actually, let's take this dog. Okay. Yeah, let's try. Do we have the proper authorization? Yeah, I think we have it, so that should work. Let's click on send. It is thinking. Okay, it works. So we have this image path. This is the location where the image is uploaded on the server, and we have this generated prompt, and we have this original file name and the file size, MIME type, user ID, everything basically what we need. But here is the prompt. That prompt is actually something cool. I want to take this prompt now, and I want to pass it to ChatGPT. So I'm going to paste this here, create an image of small fluffy white dog with a curious and unrearing expression seated on a dark gray modern sofa. The dog's fur is shaggy. This looks really nice in my opinion. So we have new lines which we can add. Here we have new lines as well. Okay. Let's see. This will take obviously some time. So let's go into our API, and I'm going to add image generation resource because, as I mentioned, resources are absolutely necessary for every production ready APIs and scalable APIs. So I'm going to bring up the terminal and I'm going to execute PHP artisan make resource, and I'm going to call this image generation resource. Image generation resource. Okay, cool. Now the resource was created. We're going to open this, then come here, and let's return ID. We need to return image path, generated prompt, original file name, file size, MIME type, created at, and updated at. Everything seems okay. Inside created it and updated it, I want to format this with the following format. And in terms of the image path, we don't need image path. Instead, I want image URL. And for image URL, I'm going to check if the image path exists, then I'm going to call asset. And I'm going to prefix storage this image path. Otherwise, I'm going to return null. So that's more like it. Now I'm going to save this. Let's go into image generation controller. And right here, I'm going to return this new image generation image generation resource. Okay, that image generation resource needs to be imported. Now let's have a look to ChatGPT what it did. Look at this. That's really good. Whoa, it also detected that there was a small hand visible, and that hand is still there. And it also detected, okay, I'm going to show you the original one. I have to show this to you. Let's do this really quickly. Here it is. So this is the original one. This is the generated one. The dog eyes are really, really well done. So this is great. We have this image. I'm speechless, to be honest. Okay, so let's go into Postman, and I'm going to do this one more time. In this case, we are returning the result of the resource. So let me click on send. The prompt might be slightly different, but we are looking for the response format. 201 created. We have this wrapped inside the data ID image URL. We can click on this and okay, so we have this forbidden. Why? Probably because we haven't created a storage link, maybe. Let me open cursor and execute PHP artisan storage link. Okay, the link was created. Let's refresh it. Okay, this is the uploaded image, and it has random name here as well. Dot is missing, by the way, at the bottom. Yep, right here. Dot. We only need dot. Dot was missing. This is the uploaded file name. This is the random name, and then dot. We can increase this random name into something else like 32 characters, just to make sure that it is non-guessable. Okay, so far so good. What we are looking for is this response format, right? And the response format is now through the resource, which is actually awesome. And now let's create one API endpoint inside the actually implement the index method to return image generations for the current user. So I'm going to get the current user. Then on that current user, I'm going to call image generations. I'm going to sort this by latest image generation at the top. And I'm going to paginate this and return 10 records at a time. And finally, I'm going to use this image generation resource collection, passing this result of pagination. So if I save this, let's go into collection. I'm going to save this method because this is not delete anymore, it is post. And I'm going to duplicate this. Get image generations. We're going to switch this into get. We're going to save it and send request. And now we have 2 image generations as a response. And then user can have a look at her history of the prompt generations, not the image generations, but the prompt generations. Actually, we should probably call this image generation. Okay, the naming is kind of not 100% accurate, so we are not generating images, we're generating prompts out of the image. So we can rename this if we want, but because the route name needs to be renamed, let's open API PHP. The route name, renaming the route name is actually easy. So we can call this prompt generation, all right? But we have to rename the controller as well and the file as well. Prompt generation controller. Okay, let's try it. Prompt generation controller. And then we have to rename prompt generations here as well, and prompt generations here as well. So I'm going to leave this to you. That's a good challenge to you. Let's go into API, and I'm using image generation, so I have to change this into prompt generation, and I'm going to import from here prompt generation as well. However, look at this. So we have this prompt generation controller directly inside app HTTP controllers, which is something wrong, and we should move this inside API version 1 because we have the version 1 prompt generations. So let's bring up the left sidebar, and I'm gonna just take that prompt generation controller and move it inside API v1. Okay, now if we go inside the prompt generation controller itself, we're going to change the namespace into API v1, and then we're going to go into the place of that controller is also now different. We have to take this from app HTTP controllers. That is necessary now, and we're going to go into API PHP, and we're going to import this from API version 1 as well. Now we can go back into these image generations, and we're going to change the URL into prompt generations. We're going to save this, send the request, and we get the result, get prompt generations. We can call this, and this is also not get. Yeah, this is correct. Generate new prompt. The name is correct, but the URL should be prompt generations. Okay, so the rest I will leave to you to change the model and the relation. Instead of image generations, we're going to call these prompt generations, prompt generation resource. The request class is actually correct.